Marvel's Phase 3 officially started with Ant-Man, but goes into full throttle with Captain America Civil War. The film may as well be called Avengers 3 Civil War, as though the movie follows the Captain's story, what transpired in it has big effects on the Avengers themselves. Because of the collateral damage caused during the Chitauri invasion of New York, the re-emergence of Hydra in Washington, and the unfolding of Ultron's plan in Sokovia, the world's governments are uneasy with the Avengers. An event at the beginning of the movie tips the scales over and the Sokovia Accord is drawn up. If the Avengers agree to sign it, they will be put under the control of the United Nations and will be deployed only when the UN deems necessary. Those who do not sign will not be allowed to continue to carry on with their actions and will be branded as vigilantes and criminals if they do. As with the comics, Iron Man and Captain America do not see eye to eye on whether to sign the agreement, for justifiable and more importantly believable reasons. Steve Rogers wants the team to be able to freely go where and when they are needed, and sees the accord as being too restrictive, while Tony Stark thinks that having the team under UN control will help in limiting the collateral damage caused in their missions and have them be accountable for their actions. The divide also extends to the rest of the team, with War Machine and Falcon disagreeing, and Black Widow agreeing with Iron Man, and so on. The UN holds a gathering for the signing of the accord, but there is a terrorist attack, and the main suspect is the Winter Soldier, which drives an even bigger wedge between Iron Man and Captain America. Although the trailers and other footage that have been released officially show much of what happens in the movie, there are still a few surprises in store for everyone watching. The setup for the characters' motivations and events in the movie are so well done that the plot is easy to follow. The scenes in this film follow a mostly logical progression into its conclusion. However, that's not to say that there aren't any weak points in the story. Apart from the plot about whether it's right to sign the Sokovia Accord or not, there's another story that has to do with another character. It's difficult to talk about this other plot without giving too much away, but like the rest of the movie, there are some solid elements in it and makes the sense as a whole. Some of the parts of it are a bit flimsy though. The movie itself would be completely different without this arc, but it's where some of the flaws lie. As with the other entries in the MCU, Civil War doesn't follow the source material exactly as it happened. Just like those other movies, though, that is completely fine and understandable. It's impossible for the cinematic universe to follow the Civil War comic to the letter, as there are events and characters that happen in one medium that didn't happen or isn't in another. The trick is to keep the essence of the source material, which the Russo brothers did in Winter Soldier, and again in this. Some characters are even changed to fit into the film's plot, and the choice of how it's done fits in well with not only this movie, but with the rest of the MCU. The directors even got at least one of the iconic images from the comics into the movie, and those who've read the original will be delighted to see it on the big screen. It's also important to note that despite the serious and dramatic tones, there is still some levity mixed in. The jokes and funny moments of the film also come at the right times from the right characters. It just goes to show that these sorts of movies don't always have to take themselves too seriously, and how having light-hearted scenes in the right places can add to the viewer's enjoyment. It also goes without saying at this point that there are two after-credits scenes. Both are set up within Civil War itself, and offer a nice look into what's to come in the MCU. Of course, it wouldn't be much of a war if there was no fighting taking place. All of the movie's action scenes are beautifully choreographed and serve to showcase the different skills and capabilities of its characters. The first action scene in Nigeria showed the teamwork between a few of the current Avengers. There's also the chase scene in which Black Panther is introduced and lets the viewer see how badass he is in how he faces off against Bucky and chases him down a busy tunnel with Cap going after him unable to keep up. The main attraction has to be the Leipzig airport fight scene, which has every Avenger, apart from Thor and Hulk, but has Black Panther, Ant-Man, and Spider-Man. Because of the variabilities of everyone involved, viewers are treated to a cavalcade of awesomeness. Saying too much about it, though, would be a disservice, as it is where some of the surprises happen. Suffice to say, all the characters have their moment to shine, and Spider-Man is sure to please. Then there's the final confrontation between Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Iron Man. Although the trailers have shown a snippet of this scene, that doesn't do it justice in expressing how intense the altercation between these three have. Although it's not the spectacle that the clash at the airport is, it's still an incredible fight. As always, the returning cast bring their A game, and as mentioned previously, the motivations for both Cap and Iron Man are properly explained. But apart from the established Avengers team, there are three newcomers, namely Black Panther, Ant-Man, and Spider-Man. Ant-Man and Spider-Man are pretty much brought in for the airport fight scene, though Spider-Man is in a few more scenes than that. Their interactions with the other characters is entertaining, such as how Scott Lang first meets Steve Rogers and Peter Parker's first meeting with Tony Stark. They also hold their own among MCU veterans, and this is especially true for complete newcomers to the cinematic universe, Tom Holland and Chadwick Boseman. Holland is not just the youngest Peter Parker on the big screen so far, but possibly the most fun to watch as well. The way he fights and quips is very accurate to the comics. It's also nice to see how a young superhero be excited in fighting alongside Iron Man and being snarky with his foes. That being said, if he and Ant-Man were removed from the movie completely, it would still have worked, but the airport scene would just not be as good as it is. With Peter Parker comes Aunt May, who is this time played by Marissa Tomei. Not much can be said about her character since she has even less screen time than her nephew, but like Tom, she plays the part well. Another newcomer is Chadwick Boseman, who plays T'Challa of Wakanda, aka the Black Panther. Not only is the casting choice for this character spot on, but so too is Boseman's acting. T'Challa is a man after the Winter Soldier for the Vienna incident, and the character's anger is impressed beautifully by Boseman. Another new character in this movie is played by Daniel Bruhl. Not much can be said about him without spoiling anything, but he does play the part perfectly. There are problems with the character, but not in the actor's portrayal. Other supporting characters include Emily Van Camp's Sharon Carter, who helps Captain America a few times, as well as progress their relationship from the Winter Soldier movie. Martin Freeman plays Everett K. Ross, another small role, but a returning character is Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who hasn't been seen since the Incredible Hulk movie from 2008. He's no longer a general going after the Hulk, and is instead a Secretary of State tasked with getting the Avengers to sign the Sokovia Accord. The character is played by William Hurt, since his objective is different from going after a green rage monster, he plays the character differently and plays it well. Captain America Civil War has something for everyone to enjoy. The story, though weak in some spots, finishes in a strong way. It doesn't take itself too seriously despite its heavy tones and issues it has, and knows when to be funny. The action scenes are incredible, especially the one at the Leipzig airport. The addition of Black Panther is great and serves to amp people up for his upcoming movie. Although Spider-Man didn't feel necessary, it's still good to have him on board to show fans how Marvel Studios handles the character. It also doesn't hurt that he may just well be the best iteration of the web slinger we've seen to date. The deal between Marvel and Sony looks to be a win-win for both companies and fans alike. Anyone who's having second thoughts about going out to see this film can rest easy in knowing that this movie is well worth the price of admission. Civil War definitely starts off the 2016 summer movie season with a bang.
Hi there, Mr. Field here, and I'd like to thank you for watching my video all the way through. If you liked it, click that thumbs up button. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments in general, feel free to share in the comment section. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.